First of all, I'm so excited and honored to be here. And second of all, I'm a pretty transparent and candid person, and I want you to know that I did a full CSI investigation on everyone behind me here before I came here. And I have to tell you, the 8 people behind me are incredible thought leaders in this community. They're pioneers, they're incredible, and they're very dedicated to their jobs, and they worked very hard to get where they are today. And I'm honored that you even let me sit on this stage with you, truly. I'm inspired by all of you, and I wish we would have shared our ideas ahead of time so I could have stolen some of them and put them under my section. But I'm so grateful to learn from you today. I'm also so grateful for SBJ and Great Southern Bank for hosting us, because right now we have 7 minutes of uninterrupted time where you have to listen to us. So I'm very excited to share some ideas, but I will be honest, when I was first asked to do this, I was like, I don't have any ideas. So I sat down and I thought, I'm going to try to focus and hone in on ideas over the last 7 months that have worked for me. I've been the CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs for the last 7 months, and these ideas are things that helped me get where I am today. They're ideas that I tried to use on a regular basis, and hopefully they can inspire you, or they can resonate with you if you're going through a massive job transition, or if you're looking for a spark because maybe you've lost it. These are ideas that have worked for me, and hopefully they can work for some of you in here. The first idea that I want to talk about a little bit in depth is conduct a listening and learning tour. This was the most valuable piece of advice I ever got at the beginning of my tenure, because when I first started, I was like, I know everything, and I'm just going to craft this vision for the future of the organization. But I had some very awesome mentors and some very awesome board members who challenged me to just listen. And it was very meaningful for me because I think I'm a good listener. Am I? The people who work with me. I'm a good listener. Okay, thank you. But I'm also a natural doer and solution-oriented. So if I hear a problem or if I hear something that I feel like needs to change, I want to act on it pretty quickly. But I was challenged to not do that. So what I did was try to figure out the best way that I could make this process meaningful for me and key stakeholders for Boys and Girls Clubs of Springfield. So I conducted focus groups and one-on-ones and small meetings with board members, club members, parents, key donors and partners, you name it. For 4 months, I challenged myself to just listen. And it was very difficult for me at times, not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I wanted to act. But during these moments, during these focus groups, that's when I heard a parent tell me how arduous the process is to coordinate bus schedules to pick up her kids after school. That's when I heard a donor tell me, I don't really feel appreciated the last couple of years, and this is what I'd like the process to look like if you still want me to support your organization. That's when I heard a kid tell me her favorite part about going to the Henderson unit is getting a hot meal from Miss Regina. So now I listened, and I was able to craft a well-informed strategic direction for the Boys and Girls Club that was no longer mine, because it shouldn't have been mine. It was ours. And I cultivated this buy-in from so many stakeholders who were excited to be a part of the process. It was so valuable for me, and honestly, I'm grateful for the people who said, slow down. The second idea I'd like to talk about is to get a therapist. And the reason why, did you say yeah? Okay, yeah. Because honestly, we're challenging the way we think about mental health, and we're talking about it more, and I really appreciate that. But I still have conversations with a lot of people in my life who are like, I haven't experienced as much trauma as other people, so I don't feel like I need a counselor, or other people need counselors or therapists more than I do. There is no recipe or an ingredient for you as an individual to feel heard. Ooh, that was good. That was good. Okay, there is no recipe or ingredient that you need to possess in order to feel heard. It's a natural thing that we all need. And when you're a leader, and when you're a successful leader, there's a lot of negative that comes into your brain, and it takes up a lot of space. And to have someone that you pay to listen to you, it can't always be your spouse. I've tried. It doesn't work. It can't always be your circle of friends, and it can't be your coworkers. So find someone that can listen to you. And honestly, even in the notes I said, mental health is a lot more accessible now than it was before. I mean, you have, look at, it is accessible, and if you need help connecting to someone, please just ask me, because I will help you. It's necessary, and I wish I would have done it in April instead of August. And then the last thing I want to talk about is adapt or die. I know it's like a weird way to say it, like you're probably not going to die, but I like to put an emphasis on it. And if you've worked at Boys and Girls Clubs any time that I have been there, it is a common phrase that I use. And it's important to me because there are many times where we plan things and it doesn't go according to plan. And I encourage my team and myself to fail forward and to use those opportunities to course correct. It's a skill that I learned very early in life. And the best way to encourage your team to adapt and move forward and overcome is to encourage them to remember their why. And I'm sure you've heard that, and it sounds a little cliche, like remember your why, remember why you're here. But for me, we all had those moments where we're like crying under our desk and just like, why am I doing this? Like we've all done it, right? If you don't have a desk, like your cubicle, you're crying, I don't know. You're crying somewhere or you're just upset, overwhelmed with emotion, you're frustrated. I challenge you to look inside yourself and figure out what your why is. And I've shared this story a couple of times, so if you've heard it, just act like you haven't and be like, wow, that was a really good story, Brandy. Okay, so I lived all over the country before I moved here in 8th grade. I became a Reed Beaver. Anybody? One person. Okay. And then I became a Hillcrest Hornet. And I will tell you that when I moved here, it was the first place I was able to call home. It's why I continued to stay here and why I want to give back to this community so much, because it means so much to me. I had no friends growing up because I moved all the time. You'd make a friend and then you'd move. And then when I moved here, I had friends. And my senior year of high school, I was nominated for Homecoming Queen. And I know you're like, Brandy, get over it. That was like so long ago. But there's a reason why I share this story. So at first I was so excited because if you're nominated for Homecoming Queen, that means like maybe people like you. I don't know. But then the second feeling was dread because my mom had already purchased a dress that was on sale and sewed it to fit me, and there was no way that I could ask her to buy me a new dress because there was this tradition that everybody who was a homecoming queen candidate had to wear a white dress. So I was so nervous and I was scared. At the time, my principal, Dr. Julie Leith, called my mom into the office the very next day after I heard I was nominated and gave her $200 and said, go buy Brandy the dress of her dreams. So first, she had a pulse on her students. She knew what they needed. And second, she did everything she could to bridge gaps for kids and to make sure that no kid felt uncomfortable or out of place because of their experience or circumstance. That is my why, and that's why I do what I do. And I hope that everyone in here can find their why and remember it when they're crying under the desk. You can also call me, and I'll help you get through it. Thank you.